What's up, gang? So, two people unsubscribed from my channel. And honestly, this is fair enough. Alright, I give you credit. I haven't uploaded in probably like 8 or 9 days at this point. I've been doing so many other things, and that is unacceptable. That's just an excuse. I don't care how many other things I'm doing. There's no excuse for that. So, for the two that have been lost, rest in peace. But for the rest of you that remain, and the people who are joining this lovely video, hey, I'm back. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about what happened in all that time. Now, the first thing, I made a list that describes all the traits of my worst villain. In other words, the best version of me. And so, this is something, God forbid, forgive me, but this is something Andrew Tate preached as like a good idea, and I kind of agreed with it. I thought it wouldn't have been a bad idea. So, I made a list with someone who I could possibly be, but does things way better than I do, right? They wake up earlier, they work more, they just figure their stuff out. And so I made this whole list, and that's been one focus. And so in addition to me creating this list, I've been really honing in on this over the past, week and a half. I've been watching a lot of Healthy Gamer GG, Dr. K, he's a psychiatrist, and I listened, in the past, a bit of Andrew Huberman, basic quarter life crisis male sort of stuff that's on par. What do men do when they get a quarter life crisis? They watch some Andrew Huberman, they start listening to David Goggins, and they listen to like Joe Rogan or something. I'm not really all about that. I just thought Huberman had some cool, interesting stuff. And what I've found is that a lot of psychiatry is really intertwined with like neurobiology, and I find it really interesting. But anyway, as a part of my villain list, I've discovered that, adding some of this stuff I've learned in from psychiatrists and neurobiologists, it's kind of fixed a lot of the problems I've been having, and I'm going to share. Now, it's very easy for us to imagine the perfect version of ourselves, but how do we actually put that into practice? Right? It's really easy to say, yeah, I'm going to wake up at 4 in the morning every morning, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes, I'm going to study for 2 hours. Neurobiologically speaking, the best time for you to study and learn things is between 4 and 7 a.m. And you do get a high dose of cortisol the second you wake up, right? Your brain is filled with stress chemicals, and you don't really feel it sometimes, but man, if you ever wake up and you have an early shift at work, you feel that stuff. If you're rolling out of bed and going straight to work, it sucks. But again, that's where that meditation comes in for those 30 minutes. You kind of just get to chill, you can shower, you brush your teeth, take your time in the morning. So that's step one, not rolling out of bed right away. That's something I learned because it'll ruin your day if you roll right out of bed and you just go to school, go to work, do whatever. You want some time from you waking up, from you actually doing things. And preferably, the thing you're doing really early in the morning is studying and not really anything else, or just learning in general. And so I had to learn this to get one step closer to that villain that is the perfect me. That bastard, he's beating me in every single category, and I'm closing that gap. That's what you want to do. Now, another thing I learned is that our behavior is actually really deterministic, which is really scary because I wouldn't be able to cite a specific study, but anywhere from 10 to 2 seconds before we do anything, our brain has already decided that we're going to do it. So, one example is participants were asked that there was like something in front of them, and they were going to say, the scientist was like, all right, you're going to say the thing, say which hand you're going to use the second you decide to use it. And so the people would use like their right hand, but they were all hooked up, like their brain was hooked up to like all these monitors and stuff, and their brain was like sending blood to their right arm, seconds before they even decided to use it, which is really interesting. And there's a couple other studies on it, but this means that everything is predetermined. So if it's predetermined that my day's gonna suck and I'm gonna sit in bed and I won't be able to work, how do I make it not predetermined to do that? It turns out it's actually really easy. And so this is what successful people do. Successful people, unconsciously, they kind of control the way their mind is predetermined to act in their favor. And so the first thing is giving themselves time between transitioning different tasks, which there's something successful people do, right? What unsuccessful people do, an example of this would be going from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship, right? Successful people don't do that, right? Only unsuccessful people do that. And so when you look at your day, right, you wake up, you give yourself 30 minutes. Okay, then you do your next task. And once you're done that, You get up and you pace a little bit. You kind of just think, and you kind of, instead of just grabbing your phone, right, you pace and you kind of think about what your next action is going to be. And what's found is that thinking about, the transition is more important than actually doing the next action, because the transition is kind of where it really matters. And another thing you can do to control your predetermined nature is to take advantage of your avoidance. So you can kind of procrastinate your procrastination. And what I mean by that is, say you have to like study, or say you have to make YouTube videos, and say you have a lot to do today, but you avoid your avoidance by saying, I'll just do this tomorrow. Instead of saying that, say, I really don't want to do this. So instead of doing it tomorrow, I'm going to do it today. So I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. Who would have thought? And then another thing really successful people do, that helps them take advantage of their determined nature is they reflect on the things they've done, right? So say, using relationships as an example again, say you're out of a relationship, you sit there and you think about it. Yeah, this taught me some valuable lessons. You think about it before hopping into the next thing, right? And so this, like when you're learning something new, you sit and think about it. When you get home from work, yeah, that was a good shift. Just think a little bit about the things you do in between doing. And so more reflection on every little action you do, it gives you the power of not repeating bad actions in the future, or actions that take you further away from success or make you less like the villain that you have crafted in your mind. And then the last thing is something called intentional binding, or just intention binding, I think is a better, more English way of saying it. So you basically attach intention to the things you're doing. And so let me ask you this. What is the difference between someone who goes to the gym for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, versus the person who goes once and doesn't pick it up again? The one that went for a long time has bound intention to the thing they're doing. So every time you're going to take action, the person who went for 50 years to the gym, every time they go to the gym, they think, I really want to work hard today to increase my health and to grow my muscles and to work them. And ideally, I want to feel sore after this workout, and I really want to push myself, and I really want to try a little harder than yesterday. And I'm going to make this one count. I'm going to get some good results out of this, and this is going to make my life better. Versus the person who goes for one day, they say, I should kind of go to the gym. I'm not the healthiest, and I'll go. One has a way more specific purpose of being there. So essentially, making a prediction about the choice you're going to make increases the likelihood of you doing it and then repeating doing it. So if you do something, you kind of predict, yeah, this is going to be good. I want to do all this and this and this. So you go and do it, and then you reflect on it, and you like select specifically to do this again for those same reasons. You're going to keep doing it. This just dramatically increases the likelihood of you doing it again. And in the time that I lost 2 subscribers, I also learned another thing. I learned the importance of sleep. Okay, your body grows when you sleep. Your body recovers when you sleep. When you don't sleep, this doesn't happen. So perhaps for me, I could have stunted my growth with the lack of sleep I got like during middle school. Man, I would sleep for 4 hours. I'd hop on the bus, I'd sleep, and then it was really a horrible time. No one was really guiding me through that. But there's a lot of neurological benefits of sleep. One is that it's good for dopamine. Okay, so you kind of just like reset. So when you're exposed to bright lights anywhere from 10 to like 4 in the morning, your brain punishes you by it just lowers your dopamine levels in general. And something interesting is that dopamine isn't really correlated to the reward as much as it is the drive. So you find, say people, they work for years and years and years, and then they achieve this great thing, right? Achieving the great thing isn't the dopamine. The dopamine is going after it every single day for all those years. That's kind of what the dopamine is. So I learned that as well. I learned to look at my drive to do things as dopamine, and I don't shut that down. If I have a drive to do something, I sit there and I think about it. I intentionally bind, a reason to the actions I do, right? Too often people just grab their phone and they just sit on it and like they don't really think about it. They hop on Instagram, they hop on TikTok, they hop on YouTube. It's kind of mindless. And you can say, I want to relax, I want to not really think about anything. That's not really a reason. It sounds like an excuse. But anyway, that's that's what I learned in my time. I lost 2 subs, and I'm going to share that with the rest of you that remain. If you're still watching, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. If you found this video awesome and insightful, helpful, important, like, subscribe, comment what you think. Comment if you think this is freaking awesome, if this is the realest video you've ever seen. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you, and peace.